Today we will be discussing editorials of 6th of October 2022. So let's start with first editorial of the day. So first let's see the Nobel Prize winners of this year. The first Nobel Prize is given to Svante Pääbo in physiology and medicine for his research involving human evolution and extracting the genomes of extinct hominins. Hominins basically they are the category, you can say, category of all those lineages of humans that have gone extinct. Right? So he has been awarded for his research including the extraction of genomes of Neanderthals. Basically the research involving the ancient DNA is a bit tricky because Neanderthals they extinct some approximately 30,000 years ago, and because of the chemical modification, and due to the chemical modification and contamination, the research involving ancient DNA is a bit difficult. Alright, so that's why he has been awarded for retrieving the genetic material from the Neanderthal fossils. Now the second Nobel Prize of this year goes to the Ellen Exbeck, John F. Clauser and Anton Zeilinger for their research in quantum technology, right? And the third prize in chemistry goes to Caroline R. Bartholdi, Morten Meldal and K. Barry Sharpless for their research in the development of the click chemistry and bioorthogonal chemistry. Now what are these two branches? You see, click chemistry basically it tends to simplify the reactions. For example, generally the chemical reactions they are complicated reactions, right? So click chemistry tries to simplify these reactions. It tries to simplify these reactions and using the method called this click method. You know what happens? It uses the inherent attraction of the molecules, so as to simplify the whole reaction. And this click chemistry was then used by Bartholdi in bioorthogonal chemistry. That means the application of the click chemistry in the living organisms. All right. And the Nobel Prize for the literature, it goes to the French novelist Annie Ernaux. All right. So these two topics, the chemistry topic and the physiology or medicine topic, we will be discussing in a separate editorial, because one complete editorial in The Hindu published with respect to the research in ancient DNA by Svante Pääbo. So we will be in subsequent classes we will take this editorial separately, and this click chemistry also we will try to discuss in details. All right, so let's move on to the second editorial of the day. But before I move on to that editorial, I would like to rectify that I had made one mistake in editorial of 5th of October with respect to the United Nations Security Council. Now I said that India is the largest contributor. However, India is actually the largest contributor in terms of the number of troops. So number of troops, India is largest, and approximately 2 lakh some 50,000 troops have been deployed, and currently in 8 active mission India is deployed, and since 1948 India has been working in the peacekeeping operations. But the largest contributor to the United Nations Security Council peacekeeping operation is Bangladesh. So this is what I wanted to rectify. So let's move on to the second topic of the day. Now this topic I have taken from the Hindu. The article that which I have taken is the criteria. The title of the article is the criteria for scheduled caste. This SC is not Supreme Court but scheduled caste. So this appeared in the Hindu. And you can relate this article with General Studies paper 1, the salient feature of Indian society. So here you will be studying the caste system. And General Studies paper 2, the mechanism, laws, institutions and bodies constituted for the protection and betterment for the welfare of the section. Now you see here the mechanism and the laws, two things, and you will study in detail the reservation, right? When was the reservation given, and how many sections of the society in India are given with the reservation? For example, the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribe, the OBC, and recently the EWS category. So you will be studying that on what basis scheduled caste and scheduled tribes are being given the reservation, on what basis OBCs are given reservation, and also you will be studying the reservation given to OBCs, the committees which was formed, and what is the creamy layer and the non-creamy layer. Right, so all this we will be studying the articles that deal with the reservation. But here in this particular editorial, we will be discussing the demand for inclusion in the scheduled caste list by the Dalit Muslims and Dalit Christians. Right, this was the article was about that. What is the criteria that is to be followed for the inclusion in the scheduled caste category? So therefore in the news was the Supreme Court. Here it is Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has sought the position of the Union government on a batch of petition that challenges the Constitution Scheduled Caste Order of 1950. So we'll study what this Scheduled Caste Order of 1950 is. Basically, this order, the 1950 order, provided reservation only to the scheduled caste belonging to the Hindus to address the social disabilities arising due to the practice of this untouchability. Now, if you see the language of Article 17, untouchability has not been defined anywhere, neither in the Constitution nor even in the law, right? However, the Madras High Court judgment said that it is the historical practice that had imposed the civil and social disabilities upon certain section of the society. So untouchability is not described, it is not defined anywhere. However, Article 17, it prohibits untouchability on the right? So 1950 order. So this 1950 order, it provides reservation only to the Hindus, and also it includes into scheduled caste category only those Dalits who are Hindus, right? Who are Hindus. Now in 1956, again the order was one more order was passed, which included in this category the Dalit who converted to Sikhism. And the scheduled caste status was given to the Dalit who converted to Buddhism in the year 1990. Right, in the year 1990, the scheduled caste status was given to the Buddhists and Sikhs, right? Those Dalit who converted to these two religion. Now, so at present, how many sections or religious section of society are included in the scheduled caste list? These are the Dalit Hindus. That means Dalit who practice Hinduism, who still practice Hinduism, and Buddhists and Sikhs, right? So these three are given the status of scheduled caste, and also according to the Article 25, let me delete all this. So according to according to Article 25 of the Constitution, which grants freedom of conscience, that is preach, propagate, and practice religion of one's choice, right? The same thing is also provided in the preamble to the Constitution of India, So according to this Article 25, the definition of Hindus includes Hindus, of course, Sikhs and Buddhists, right? So according to Article 25, the definition of Hindus include these three religious groups, right? And Dalits who had converted to other religions like Christianity and Islam, they have not been included in the scheduled caste list. So therefore this order, it has been challenged by various Dalit this has been challenged by various Dalit activists and Christian groups and Dalit Christian groups to grant them the status of scheduled caste on various grounds. We will be discussing that why they have been excluded. So we will discuss the arguments given by the Registrar General of India and the Government of India, and we will also discuss that what are the demands of these groups for inclusion in scheduled caste list, right? So far we have discussed that the groups that have been included in the scheduled caste category. Now these two, the Dalit who converted to Buddhism and Sikhism, they were included to this list by the recommendation of Kalelkar Committee of 1956 and a high-powered panel. This is not Lanka, by mistake probably. This is high-powered panel, right? So this is high-powered panel on minority, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in 1983, right? In 1983. In 2019, the Union government was again presented with the demand of inclusion in the scheduled caste category by Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims, and Government of India, the Union government had rejected this possibility, giving the reason that the Imperial Order of 1936, Now, if you remember that in 1935, the Government of India Act of 1935 had included a category called depressed classes to grant them reservation. And this reservation had excluded the Dalit Christians, from the purview of such benefits. So this was done by the Imperial Order of 1936, right? This was done by the Imperial Order of 1936. And the order had specifically excluded the scheduled caste. They are not categorized as scheduled caste, but they belong to the Dalit caste, right? So Dalit Christians have been excluded by this order from the grant of reservation by the Government of India Act of 1935, and the Union government in 2019 had cited this imperial order for their rejection of the demand by the Dalit Christians, right? So now let's see what are the arguments that are given by the Registrar General of India. The arguments given by the RGI in 1978, when the Registrar General of India was asked for the possibility of including the Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims in the scheduled caste list, or to grant them the status of scheduled caste, what his argument was. The first thing he said, that the scheduled caste status was meant for all those groups, for all those communities who suffered from the social disabilities out of the practice of untouchability, and he cited that untouchability was the practice prevalent among Hindus and Sikh, right? So therefore all those religious groups like Buddhists, because Buddhists, they were granted the status of scheduled caste in the year 1990, and this is the argument with which Registrar General of India had presented in the year 1978. So 1978 arguments we are discussing here, and Buddhists, they were granted the status in 1990, right? So so he said that the Dalit Christians and Dalit Muslims, they did not form a single category. That means there is no single ethnic group that existed for the purpose of the Article 341, right? For the purpose of the Article 341, right? And he also, and Registrar General of India also said that the practice of this untouchability, it is not practiced in their new religion, and the converts have lost their caste after conversion. We will also discuss the arguments given by the activists for the inclusion in the scheduled caste category, and another argument that was given by that it will be misunderstood internationally that the imposition of the Hindu caste system or caste structure on Christians and Muslims, right? If they are included in this category, so it will be understood that the Hindu caste structure is being imposed upon them. Although in Indian society you will study that how post conversion also the caste structure remain intact even among the Christians and among the Muslims. Muslims also you will study 3 categories are there, and Christians also you will study that how the Syrian Christians are different, and the Dalit Christians are treated differently. So you will understand that the caste structure, it is still prevalent among Christians and Muslims also, and this is the same argument which is given by the Dalit activists, right? So let's see what are the arguments given for the inclusion, right? So there are many reports which have highlighted the social disabilities which are imposed even on the converts. For example, among the Muslims also the caste structure is prevalent, more like a class system. Caste system is also prevalent. The first generation converts, the Dalit converts, and like that. You will study this in your Indian society. So many of the reports had highlighted that such system is prevalent even among Christians and Muslims. For example, the first Backward Commission report of 1953, the Committee on the Untouchability, Economic and Educational Development of the Scheduled Caste of 1969, and a High Panel report on the Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe and Minorities, the Mandal Commission report and the Ranganathan Mishra report. These reports have highlighted the social and the civil disabilities imposed on the Dalit converts, right? So these are the arguments which are given. And one more argument is given for the inclusion, that even Buddhism and Sikhism does not preach inequality or the caste system per se. Still they are included in the scheduled caste, right? So why not Christians and Muslims? These are the arguments given by the activists or those who are demanding for the inclusion, right? So these are the arguments which have been given. Now let's see what the Article 335 says. It recognizes that special measures need to be adopted for continuing the claims of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to services and posts in order to bring them at par. Now the Article 335 along the Article 15 and along with Article 16, these articles govern the criteria for the reservation, right? For the reservation in education and employment and other benefits which are given other benefits which are given. Also the directive principles of the state policies. Also the directive principles of state policy. So if we remember that Dr. Ambedkar had once said that before there is established a political democracy, we need to establish a social democracy, right? So in order to have a equitable democracy and equal representation, we need to have a social democracy, right? Now let's see these three important judgments related with the reservation. Although we are not discussing reservation as a complete topic here, but I have still tried to include these judgments because they are related with these communities like OBC and scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So what were the judgments given in these three cases by the Supreme Court? The first is the Indira Sahani judgment in 1970s. The Supreme Court had put a ceiling on the percentage of the reservation given to the socio-economic backward classes, that is 50%. That means the reservation cannot exceed 50%. And this was the case also cited during the Maratha reservation case. Right. Jarnail Singh case, this was the case that involved the OBC's creamy and non-creamy layer. That some of the categories in OBCs are economically advanced, and they need to be excluded from the benefit of the reservation. And this was a similar purpose that the Rohini Commission has been established for the subcategorization. Rohini Commission is there for the subcategorization of the OBCs to see that how many communities have taken the advantage of the reservation to economically advance, to fulfill their economic advancement. And this Nagaraj case, it provided that the communities who empirically verify the backwardness, and if there is empirical data available to grant the reservation in promotion, right? So these are the three cases which we have discussed. Maybe in the next class we will take the topic of reservation as a separate reservation topic, and we will discuss it in details. We will discuss it in detail, that what is reservation, how many articles are, from which article of the Constitution does the provision of reservation comes, and other negatives and positives of reservation. What is horizontal reservation and what is vertical reservation? Has the reservation benefited the community? So we will take this topic as a separate topic and discuss it in detail. But so far, these were the arguments that were given in the article present in the Hindu. So far we have discussed this only. So that's it for today. Thank you.